Hi, I'm Scott and welcome back to the channel. Back down here in the library next to the bar for what I expect will be hopefully an interesting 2 or 3 part series on barrel aging your own bourbon at home. So let's get right into it. Okay, so what you see in front of us here is a 2-liter oak barrel from Freedom Oak Barrels. I'll put a link down below. Not sponsored at all, by the way. You can see they, for no extra cost, they engrave the front of the barrel here however you'd like it to personalize it for you. It comes in really 3 main parts. There is the barrel itself. Like I said, this is a 2-liter. It's already pre-charred to a medium char inside. The stand, and then the spigot and stopper here for the bunghole come as well. The setup is pretty basic. You soak the spigot and the stopper in a cup of water for an hour or so. While that's happening, you put some warm water into the barrel itself, plug up the holes with your fingers, shake it up, pour out any leftover debris inside the barrel. You do that 4 or 5 times. You don't want to get all of it out because it's going to add some flavor to the barrel as you go along. And then the most important part, you put the spigot back in, you fill it with hot water, completely full, and put it aside for 48 hours to 10 days. The reason being the wood itself needs to absorb the water, swell up, and close any gaps. Because when you first get it, it will leak a little bit. Now it says it could be 2 days to 10 days for that process to complete. Mine leaked only a very small amount and only in the first couple of hours. So after 2 days, I was definitely good to go. I think it's really nice quality on these things. And so I'm like 3 days into it, I soaked it. Once you're pretty sure that you're not going to have any leaks, then they want you to empty it out, let it air dry for 4 hours, no longer, and then you're ready to go. So once the barrel is cured and ready to go, the next step is to decide what you're going to put in it. You can use this as a finishing process to take an already barreled bourbon and reintroduce it and try and draw some other flavors out of it. You could take the small barrel, put some sherry in it or some wine in it, let it soak for a few days or months, and then dump that out and use the now sherry cask or wine cask to impart flavors on an existing bourbon. Or we can do what I'm going to do right now, and that is use the bourbon straight from the distillery and barrel age it yourself. In this case, I've chosen from Buffalo Trace, obviously a quality distillery, their White Dog wheated mash. They make 3 different types of White Dog, which is a raw distillate. This is what goes into the barrels at Buffalo Trace to make Buffalo Trace, to make Weller, to make Pappy Van Winkle, or any other of their brands. Like I said, they have 3 different White Dogs. They have what they call mash number 1, which is primarily corn-based. They have this one, which I chose, which is their wheated mash, which is corn, wheat, and barley. And then they also have a rye mash. The mash number 1 and the rye mash are the highest proof at 125, which is by law the highest proof that can go into the barrel in order to make bourbon. This one's a little lower, but not much, 114 proof, 57% alcohol by volume, and that's what I'm going to use. Now, of course, we can't just pour it in there. We have to give it a taste test as the control subject here before doing so. Using the Glencairn glass, of course. If you don't have one, you need some. I'll put a link down below to these that I like. So, as you would expect, I guess I've had moonshine before, which is in effect what this is. As you'd expect, it's a little aggressive, a little harsh on the nose. You definitely get grain. You can get a sense of the wheat and the barley, a little of the sweetness of the corn. It opens up a little bit as I'm swirling it around here. Of course, there's no oakiness to it because it hasn't been in the barrel yet. There's no smokiness to it. It is just straight, raw grain alcohol, in fact. Similarly, on the first taste, it's a little rough, it's a little aggressive, it's a little harsh, but it finishes smoother. There's a little bit of heat there, some slight sweetness with the corn, almost a little hay, a little grassiness. I guess I'm getting that from the wheat and barley, I suspect. Not unpleasant at all. I mean, this is truly, I mean, for hundreds of years, people would make the moonshine and the whiskey, and this is what they'd be running with. Yeah, this definitely get the job done if you're just sitting around drinking moonshine. So obviously the goal here is to turn this into this using the barrel. Now, I've already pre-filled the barrel with 5 bottles of this already. This is 375 milliliters. Do the math, figure it out. I needed a little bit more than 5 bottles to fill this barrel. It's important to fill the barrel. I could have gone with the 5 other bottles and then put some purified water in to bring the proof down. You want to have the barrel as full as possible to reduce evaporation, the angel share. I decided not to do that. 114 proof, yeah, it's a little high. I expect it'll go down a little bit. But I do like barrel proof bourbons, and if we're going to do it, why not do it all the way? So I figured rather than putting the water in at this point, I will just fill it completely with the raw distilled whiskey. And so all we're going to do now is finish filling that should about do it. And there we have it. So the plan going forward is this. I think what I'll do is let this sit for a month. We're right around March 15th right now. A month will get us to April 15th, tax day. I usually need a stiff drink on tax day anyway. So that'll be my first run at tasting it. You know, you can do it every week, every 2 weeks, whatnot. I'll try and be patient. I'll let it sit for a month, but I'm probably also not just going to let it sit. You know, the beauty of what happens down in Kentucky is the weather changes. They're in the ricks. They're out there exposed to the elements to a certain degree. So I may move it around the house a little bit. I may take it out if the weather's semi-nice. I might take it out and sit it outside for a day and let it heat up and cool off. I'll play around with it a little bit, but I'm going to let it sit for a month. Then we'll come back and do a tasting, see if the color has changed, see how the tasting notes have changed. And then based on that experience, maybe we'll let it sit for another month, maybe even a third month. They say this will age quicker than it does in a regular barrel because of the ratio of volume to wood is a little bit different. we'll give it a shot. I think it should be a fun experience. Hope you liked this. If you did, hit the like, subscribe, and bell button. Leave a comment down below if you've aged your own bourbon at home, and I'll see you again soon here in the arena.